Synth Saturday. Again, in case you're new to the channel and don't know why I'm a guitar player on a guitar channel talking about synths, at some point or another, this is one of those things where you put together a band with your friends. Everyone does this when you're a kid. You're 12 years old, you buy your first guitar, you get all excited, you find your friends and say, hey, let's start a band. Oh, I don't know how to play a guitar. Okay, well, you'll be the guitar player, you'll be the drummer, you'll be the bass player, I'll be the lead guitarist. You end up teaching your friends how to play, so you end up learning how to play, and then they end up quitting because they're not interested in the first place. I actually had a band where the only person I didn't teach how to play was the drummer. All of my drummers except one had to play the drums. At one point it was almost a super group. I was lead guitar player, got a friend of mine, showed him how to play bass. Another friend of mine, he played guitar and sang. Unfortunately, I sang too because I couldn't convince him to, you just want to be the lead singer. He's like, no, you got to sing too. Have you heard me sing? You trust me, you need to be the lead singer. That band was the one that I really felt, out of all the bands I've been in, had the closest potential to become famous. As a result of all this, because we're listening to different bands, we'd seen New England in concert. Of course, you see Jimmy Waldo up there on all his synthesizers, and you're like, I want to learn how to play synthesizer. So I worked at a music store and got some few issues of Keyboardist magazine, and they had ads in there, of course, for a lot of Korg and Roland stuff, but they also had ads in there for ARP. To me, ARP is it. I gone into a music store and I saw all the ARP stuff, but anyway, you probably saw all that on the unboxing. If not, go check out that channel where I showed the whole $2,400 at Sweetwater. What did I buy? This is what I bought. The only thing that's missing is my VC340. I don't have that here. So I got these. The DeepMind 12, which is my polyphonic. I got the Odyssey here, but the Odyssey was always one I had my heart set on, and I explained that in the other video. Go check that one out and I'll explain why. As a result, because I've played every instrument you can play in a band. I played guitar, I played guitar drums, I played keyboards, I played bass, I unfortunately sang. So let's talk about the Odyssey today. I talked about the Poly D, or the Mini Moog, last week. When I was growing up, we called it Mini Moog. But if you saw Close Encounters of the Third Kind, you heard them referring to the ARP team, and that was rather than ARP. I guess like the ARP Foundation refers to it as ARP. So, and I know this is not, it doesn't have the ARP on it, it has the Behringer. I got this one because the Korg one was way more expensive, unbelievably expensive. Watched multiple reviews and didn't see really any difference in sound between the Odyssey and the Korg Odyssey. So CARP or BARP. You could buy the CARP and it had a particular sound. You could buy the BARP, which I've got here, the Behringer Odyssey, and I really didn't hear all that much difference in sound. Basically, you could probably buy 3 ARP Odysseys and set them up and all be like version 3 ARP Odysseys, and you could plug them in and sit there and play them and go, well, this one sounds a little darker, this one sounds more aggressive, and this one sounds richer and brighter. I think it could be, there's no way to guarantee that any difference between the Korg and the Behringer. If you have one and you're hearing it, it may be that kind of thing. Go out and buy 3 ARP Rev 3 Odysseys and tell me if you can hear a difference between them. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the Behringer Odyssey. So that's a kind of an up and down control. And I've heard everyone say, it doesn't matter how hard you press, but I've noticed but when I press harder, okay, yeah, there is a big difference. Is there a difference in sound when you go down? Maybe it's just when you go up, but let's hear. That's pressing, or how about, oh, there's a huge difference. So yes, it does matter how hard you press it. Now in the last video I talked about letting your synths warm up. Yeah, these are analog synths. It's better to let them warm up 5 minutes on a warm day. If it's a really cold day like today where it's 30 degrees outside, I would let this thing warm up for 15 minutes before you play it. Otherwise you're going to have tuning issues and it's going to drive you nuts. So some things to know. There's a much better series than the one I'm going to do. This is just a brief introduction to get up and running. is understand this is your controls. This is just choosing, you know, the shaping of the VCO. So this is the shaping of the VCO and the tuning, shaping of the VCO and the tuning. So where over here do you select whether it's square wave or saw wave? Because those are your two choices. You only have square or saw. That's it. Where is it? It's not here. It's not here. It's over here in the mixing section. Why? I don't know. So let's just show you something really quick. So what's that? You're over here in my mixer. This is sample and hold in LFO. And a lot of you guys want to get up and running really quick. So let's get that. So you definitely want to try playing with this, but this is, I have my speed here over where it says sample and hold. You have sample and hold mixer right here, sample and hold. Up here is my LFO control. Now, I don't play too much with the tuning on this. I'll just leave it that. And then I'll do that to switch my octaves. That's not a 1 octave switch. This is actually a 2 octave switch. So here you would have to... Whoa, suddenly, if I take out my sample and hold mixer, it's almost like an organ. So the sweep is by taking your filter, and the filter goes into your ADSR. So what I do here is you have a choice between AR or ADSR. Now you can see that immediately changes my slope right on there. Now that's a much longer slope because they don't have it quite set the same, but let's take this back out again because I love getting this low sound and then when we look at, we've looked here, this is, I haven't gotten too much into this, the width control and your modulation. When I have this on square wave like I do here, do you hear that? That's pulse width modulation. It's possible to, on the Odyssey, to get your LFO to actuate that. I don't do that too often. Because the wonderful thing about this is I have a mixer control over here and I can, adjust that to, like right now I've got chorus on, but I can also choose, let's choose a delay, that's flanger. Just a brief note, when you're messing with this, be prepared, you're probably going to hit this tuning. There's only, to keep it in a certain size, they put a lot of the controls close together, just something to be aware of. So now I can turn it to back to chorus, or I can choose ambience. I don't use that too much. Echo. So do you hear the delay on there? But since I got this going through my Marshall amp, I can choose a much longer delay, or I can choose a shorter delay. Cool, huh? Not everyone's using their Marshall amp. You can have it's better to get a Behringer keyboard amp. That's what I eventually want to get. Okay, so next, I got the volume way up here. Let's turn that down. All right, over here in my mixing section, let's put it back on saw wave. Yeah, we'll put this on, or I can put it on phaser. Very cool. You can change all the parameters. If it's too fast to sweep, you can actually go in here with this control and edit it. So just keep that in mind, or you can just turn it off and have, but I think that sounds better. Or to put this on, say, chorus and echo. That's one of my favorite ones. It's a delay, flange, chorus, and reverb. Talk box, I use that too. So now, just like on my Mini Moog, I have I keep a chorus on that one. It sounds good without it. Okay, yeah, you get the idea. Let's put this back just on the chorus. Kick it back on. And there's my default sound. Alright, so some of the things to keep in mind on this is you have I explained this on one of my short. You can use over here, the keyboard control is kind of a control, it's kind of like a tone control that you can use. And then my ADSR, I'm adding a little bit of to the ADSR. And listen to the change in sound. And that's just through using my keyboard control and the ADSR inside the mixer. Now what gets fun is if I add some noise. Let's add a little. Guess what I can do? Just in case you've never heard that before, and want to, or if you have heard that before and want to know how to do it. There you go. You're gonna have fun playing with that. And then this is a high pass filter to make it, in case you want to. If you want to just take the depth out, use a high pass filter. If you don't, leave the high pass filter off. All right, last but not least, because I need to bring this thing to a stop at some point. Let's take the noise out, and let's take the and that's just, again, I'm just playing with my ADSR control, and here's your envelope, and you can adjust that to get your different sweeps. So if I would actually increase attack a lot and drop the decay if I want an upward rise. There you go, aching to get me. Anyway. If you take your, up here in your audio mixer, take your VCF frequency and drop that down, and keep the resonance up. Kind of play with how you got that set. You get the idea, and then etc. Okay, so that's just a brief introduction to the Odyssey, all the different things you can do to play with it. I'm not going to give you a long, drawn-out, 1 hour long, here's every knob on the Odyssey explanation. There's a great one out there by an experienced keyboard player who toured for years with major bands, and the Odyssey was one of his ones. And actually, if you go to the ARP Foundation, they actually highlight his 5-part series on the Odyssey, and he talks about things like how to get the sample and hold going. For the sample and hold, I can do that really fast with my 2600. I tend to prefer to do it out of that. All right, so there you go. That's some stuff to play with, and we will see you next time. Bye!